You're listening to Following On with me, Neil Manthorp, along with former England fast bowler Steve Harmison for the usual busy show. England's white ball tour of Sri Lanka starts this week. We'll look ahead to the ODI series, of which every ball will be live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2 starting on Thursday. England all-rounder Sam Curran will join us to look back at a successful few months playing franchise cricket and being named captain of MI London for the 100. New Zealand all-rounder Daryl Mitchell reflects on their historic ODI series win in India. And as always, we'll round up some of the week's other big stories and bring you the final word. Several final words, actually. So plenty to come over the next hour. This is Following On. Well, Harmy, you're in Colombo. You've just landed, along with producer Scott. 2 days to go then before England's first ODI match against Sri Lanka. Every ball, as I mentioned, live and exclusive here on talkSPORT 2 and on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. Well, England have won just 4 out of 15. We mentioned that last week. That's last year, 4 out of 15 ODIs. Their T20 form is very different. Let's talk about the makeup, first of all, Harmy, and who you expect to play. I mean, are Crawley and Duckett going to be reunited at the top of the order in the ODI format? Is it time for Rian Ahmed to play some cricket for England rather than carry drinks? I can't. It's a 15-man squad, and you're very good at picking 11s. So who have you got starting?
I mean, man, it looks as though it could be another drink carrying exercise for Rian. Could be another drink carrying exercise for Tom Banton. I can't see Crawley and Duckett opening the batting. I think you've got to fit a place in for where does Will Jacks fit into all this. My 11 that I can see sitting here now would be Jacks, Duckett, Root, Brook, Butler, Bethel, Curran, Cast, Dawson, Rashid, Wood. The only difference would be Overton for Cast. That would be the sort of to and from. Where does Rian Ahmed fit in? While Adil Rashid's fit and firing and still the best in the business, then I think he might have to wait for his time. I think Tom Banton, Zach Crawley at the top of the order. Do they get? There's no place where Root is. No point taking Joe Root if you're not going to pick him. He's only there for a week. Brook's captain. Butler's the best player that's ever played white ball cricket for England and in good form. Jacob Bethel is the sort of latest superstar. And all of a sudden you've got Sam Curran at number 7 and a Carson and Overton at 8. So Banton, Crawley, they fit into that batting role at number 7, but I think England would want some bowling from that role. So Banton's out. And it's where you fit Will Jackson. If you fit him in at the top of the order, there's no place for Zach Crawley. So, and that's a strange one, picking Zach Crawley off the back of. Again, I don't want to sort of keep having a go at Zach because we've had a go at him averaging 30 in Test match cricket over the last couple of years. But where has he come from in this white ball unit? Where's the recognition to get to, that 15-man squad that went to New Zealand? I sort of understood that. But I didn't understand this one because the understanding of the New Zealand trip was to get some, batting practice for the Ashes. So that's where I see this white ball squad at. With Wood, you've got a left arm option, a right arm option in Overton or Cast, the left arm all round option in Sam Curran. Then you've got Liam Dawson, Adil Rashid, Will Jacks, Jacob Bethel, Joe Root from a spin bowling options. So their play for me, and they keep the spin bowling options. It's whether you go with a Rian Ahmed over Liam Dawson, possibly, because you've got Jacob Bethel as a left arm spin option. But I really can't see how you fit Rian Ahmed in. I can't see how you fit Zach Crawley in, and I can't see how you fit Tom Banton in. So out of this 15 that's there, I'm picking 11 from 12.
Okay, let's talk mentality and psychology of the top 6. It's only really Joe Root last year who showed the ability to pace an innings, to show the requisite patience in 50 over cricket. Now, the argument that these players play so little 50 over cricket domestically isn't that last decade's argument? I mean, I grew up, with cricketers and coaches saying, well, we need to play three first-class games before a test series, or we need to play to get into the right frame of mind. But I just think it's yesterday's thinking or last year's thinking, isn't it? Because as a professional cricketer, as a bowler yourself, you knew that there were different skills required and different formats. You knew what to do. And so it's just a question of doing it, because they're not going to play dozens of ODI games. Those days are gone. They need to be able to adapt, and it's between the ears, isn't it? I mean, who needs to make that statement? Who needs to show that patience, to bat through the middle overs and to do the hard grunt, to take the singles, to score it, five singles and over for 15 overs in the middle.
Well, I think that the two players that you'd hope that can do it are two of England's best players. One of England's best ever players in Joe Root, and one emerging probably could be one of England's best ever players when he's finished, if he continues the trajectory, and that's Harry Brook. It's a big tour for Harry. It really is. Captaincy, it's massive. What happened in Australia? I mean, I've seen that film many times. I've started it. You have a bad Ashes tour. Everybody wants to change the world. You get caught in a moment where you shouldn't have. From a drinking point of view, who cares? Really, who cares? I mean, it's about where he goes from here and how he goes and leads his side. And I think it's a big 6 weeks for Key, McCullum, Stokes, Brook, and one I hope that we get the positive outcome of, because I've listened to another podcast say we play too much cricket, and then all of a sudden, because we're not very good at 50 over cricket at the minute, we don't play enough. And these guys they're top players. Sam Curran's got on a plane from Dubai, gone out to Sydney. He's played 3 or 4 games of T20 cricket. Didn't look as though he had missed a beat off being on a plane for the best part of 20 hours. He's flown back. This is what these players do now. So I think the longer format of the game is one. The longer format of the white ball game, I think, is one that I think England have struggled recently, because I think tactically they've possibly got it wrong. And I really hope that all the noise off the back of the Ashes about we need to not change, but we need to be a bit smarter. There's jobs on the line here. There really is jobs on the line. So I think when it comes to where I think the sort of bumps in the road and the roadmap ahead for this current regime, if there is an element of change, even if England don't get the semi-finals, but you see England play some sensible cricket. We are in the games because we have thought process. Our execution was top notch. If we do that, then I think this regime still has a chance of surviving beyond the T20 World Cup. And I hope they do, because there's a lot more good happened in the last 3.5 years than there is bad. But we keep making the same mistakes. We made the same mistakes in India. We made the same mistakes in New Zealand. And we're now going into a series against Sri Lanka ahead of a World Cup, T20 format. And can we learn from the mistakes we've made? Why we're 4 wins out of 15 in the 50 over format. If we answer that positively in the next 3 games, then they're possibly. I don't want Brendan McCullum to change his philosophies, his mindset, the way he gives off, I think, freedom to express. I just think in passages of games where we have fallen short is areas where I think teams around the world that are the best teams around the world, I think, are better at it than us. And I think there's small little things which add up into a 5% difference in winning and losing a game. And I think that is something I want to see over the next 3 50 over games and 3 T20 games leading into a World Cup. And I think Harry Brook is front and centre of that, because whatever's happened has happened. There's nothing you can do about it. It's about how you lead your actions from now. It's all words and everything's been said, and all the pundits have had their dues. YouTubers have had their opinions. Harry Brook has to lead an England side over the next 6 games leading into a World Cup. And if he does that well, then he starts pushing, with the tide as opposed to against it, what's been happening over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, finally in this section, Harmy, let's talk about Harry Brook. It just seems to me that if you were to offer him, or if you were to say, how would you feel if we were 115 for two at the halfway stage? My sense is that he would say, no way, no, that's not enough. He wants more. There's, and Rob Key, when he appointed him as captain, said, that Harry wants to score 400. He wants attacking batsmen. He wants it all. And it seems to me, or 120 for three, at the halfway stage. It would be, my sense is that it would be too small for him. So that's on field. How about off field? I mean, as someone who had the odd skirmish with tour disciplinary guidelines yourself, you were never captain. But are people going to be tiptoeing around him? How should he handle it? He's got his captain's press conference tomorrow, which you'll be at. How do you think he will handle it? How would you like to see him handle it? Is he going to come out and say, "Listen, guys, there's no elephants in the room. I made a big mistake in Wellington before the third ODI. Had too much to drink. I had a skirmish with a nightclub bouncer. I'm owning it. I'm honest, but I'm not going to be talking about it again. I'm sorry." Well, how do you think on and off field? How do you think Harry Brook will be looking to handle things?
I think on the field, that we've said before, it's about them being smart. I mean, 100. If the situation deems that 120 for three is still in the game, par for the course, even if it's slightly below par, you encourage your side to just give themselves some time. I always want this side to think that they've got more time than they need because of the ultimate power they've got. I mean, their ability to hit 360 degrees around the ground, their chance of being able to get 120, 140 off the last 10, 11 overs, if they're in a position to do that. And that, for me, is the biggest thing I think this team has probably fallen short on in the last 15 games, and why they're 4 from 15, because so many times, they didn't get past the 36th over in New Zealand. In 3 matches, 36 overs each time, less than. So that tells you then, and they got decent scores. So yes, you want to be attacking, you want to be on the front foot, you want to put pressure on the opposition. But if you're constantly getting bowled out for 36 overs, it's game over. You ain't winning any games. So it's making sure you're taking games deep. That's where Joe Root and Harry Brook should be a lot better. Joe Root's unbelievable at it. Harry Brook can be better at it. Josh Butler's very, very good at sort of giving themselves some time and making it up further down the line. And I think this is where, unfortunately, for England and what they've gone through in the last few weeks, I think this is where they need their big players to stand up and execute them and being able to bat 50 overs. If that batting unit, I've just named a 1 to 11, if that batting unit bats 50 overs, they'll get close to 400. They will get close to 400 because teams in the last 10 overs, if Butler and Bethel and Curran, even like Sakasa Overton, are still in with a view of pressing the sort of foot to the floor accelerator button, they're getting 350, 400 naturally. And I think that's there. Harry off the field, exactly what you said. He owns it. It's as simple as that. He made a mistake. But, it shouldn't define him. It shouldn't define what happened in the Ashes. It really shouldn't. He's made a mistake. Go in, you own up. Look, I've apologized. I've said what I've had to say. If you want to go on further, I can't put any more meat on the bones. This is what happened. That's what I did. I've apologized. I should have known better. I'm England captain. It's about my actions now. So if you wanted me to keep going on about it, I'll keep going on about it. I don't really want to. But at the end of the day, if you're going to keep beating this stick of that, I'd rather you talk about what I can do as England captain and what I can give to this team and what I can do, because at the end of the day, there's nothing more I can say about what happened. I was out. I made a mistake. I've owned up for a mistake. I've been punished for the mistake. I now want to be the best England captain I possibly can. And now it's about going and proving them actions right over the course of this next 6 games, and then to the end of March when the World Cup's on. And it's about Harry's actions. And I would say, if I was here, I would encourage him to say, trust me on these actions and not what I can't control. I've done everything I needed to do on that. I've owned it. I've met it. Bang. Thank you very much. I apologize. I'm not apologizing a million times. I've done it. Let's move on. Ashes, 4-1, gone. Done it. Let's move on. And I think that is something I would encourage everybody to do and judge on what Harry's actions are next, not what happened in Wellington.
Right, delighted to say we're joined live from Sydney now by Sam Curran, although he'll be in Sri Lanka by the time this interview is broadcast. Sam, you've a lot to talk about. Let's start with your appointment as captain of MI London. We're still coming to terms with that name. It's not something that's new to you. You just captained the Desert Vipers to their inaugural T20 title. So I'm excited, I would imagine, taking over from Sam Billings at MI London.
Yeah, I think obviously lots of change happening in the 100, so that's obviously everyone's going to have their pros and cons about it, I guess. But it's very exciting, I think, especially for me as a Surrey player to still have that link with the Oval. Had 5 very successful years with the Oval Invincibles, and I guess with Sam Billings as our captain, he obviously did an amazing job. But I guess it's great that the London team and MI have, I guess, we've managed to keep Will Jacks as well, who's obviously a Surrey player, and you got Danny Wyatt as well, who's, I guess, another Surrey women's player. So I think that connection was really important when I kind of spoke to Stewie, or I guess Ollie Slipper and the Mumbai people. As I said, I did want to make sure that we keep that Surrey connection there, and I feel really proud to be able to captain, and I think you guys will be, I can't really say, but you'll be excited by our 2 overseas signings that do come.
Right, Dubai, Sydney, Colombo, and there's probably a few stops along the way. I have to ask you, Sam, do you get to keep your air miles, or does the travel agent get them?
No, thankfully, I do keep my air miles, so they've been topped up quite a bit in the last 3 or 4 months, but I guess it's much better than being in that cold indoor school and things like that back home. So I'm not complaining.
Sam, you talk about obviously going to England. The white ball team's captained by Harry Brook, but how valuable is it that you've got captaincy experience in there? Joss was captain for the England team before. There's many of your players who have played in franchise tournaments around the world who are captains, and especially when you go into like the pressure situations of a World T20 and the subcontinent where it can be noisy, it can be hot, it could be a bit more fast forward than usual. So your captaincy experience, how valuable is that with the experiences you've got in the teams?
Yeah, I guess it's not going to do any harm. I guess I know Brookie pretty well. It was my first experience playing under him recently in New Zealand when we were there. It was quite we rained off mostly in those T20, so we didn't really play hugely as a T20 group. But he's obviously hugely experienced, high class player. You mentioned Joss as well. There's quite a few guys who were involved in that T20 World Cup we won in Australia, and then I guess in the West Indies when we played under Joss. So I think India is going to be a huge challenge. I think going to Sri Lanka before is obviously couldn't be any better prep. I guess part of the World Cup's also going to be there. So I guess getting used to that heat, the love for cricket in those nations is huge. So the fans, the noise, like you said, it's going to be huge, and I've played a lot of cricket in India, so having that experience is going to be key. Like, I think most of our group has got a lot of experience. We play so much in India, so I think obviously I feel fairly experienced within that side. I think the squad that's been selected is obviously, it's actually quite a young group, which is quite exciting. There's a lot of guys I played age group cricket with, and then you add the likes of Joss and I guess Jofra and from the top of my head, those are the guys I can think who are a bit more experienced. And Adil Rashid, obviously, who's one of the best spinners in the world. So I think we got a really exciting group, and I think being in a World Cup, anything can happen. But I think the fact that we got some nice preparation is going to be really good.
Amazing record in ODI cricket England had last year. 4 wins out of 15 ODIs. It's the leanest year I think since ODIs began. And yet, the T20 team is doing very well. Won 7 out of 8 completed games. Well, why has ODI cricket fallen off the back of the England bus?
Yeah, I think it's 50 over cricket. It's no secret that we're not playing loads of it. I think no one's really playing huge amounts of 50 over cricket. I guess it's a format we struggled with last year. But I think I think the biggest challenge now is going to be showing that consistency that's been shown in T20 and 50 over cricket. I think I played the 3 games in New Zealand when we were there when I was first time back in the group for a while. We lost a couple of tosses on some green ones, and we're probably 20 runs below par each game, and we actually bowled extremely well in that series. So I guess it's such a different format. Everyone says it's still close to T20, but it's not. It's very different. It's a longer version, and I think we play 3 now, first before the T20s in Sri Lanka. So I guess it's a new year, and we can be positive and say it's a new start, and we go again.
And then you say it's a new year and you start again, but you've got experience from the last when England won the T20 World Cup out in Australia. There's you, Joss, Brookie, Phil Salt, Adil Rashid. I think that's 5 years from that tournament. What are you expecting this time from this tournament? Because the pitches will be different. Obviously, stadiums are a little bit different. What skill sets do you need to sort of have a chance of winning at this time?
Yeah, I guess tournament cricket's really exciting. I think our group, we've obviously got a couple of teams we never really play against as well to start, and then you had, I guess, the West Indies are such a powerful side. I think you just got to get used to the pressures and the wickets in India. We played 2 in Mumbai, I think, to start, and then I guess Kolkata as well for the group stage. So 2 iconic venues, and you'd expect them to be pretty decent wickets as well. So I think the group stage is really important to get the role clarity of play. I guess your role in the team, I think you mentioned earlier, the fans, the love for cricket in India is huge. We're going to be in Sri Lanka now for 10 days before, I guess, the World Cup, and we get used to that heat, the conditions, and just being around each other. It's been a while since obviously with the Ashes being on, we haven't been around as a group. In places like India, you spend a lot of time together in the hotels and things like that. So I'm really excited. I've obviously experienced, like you said, a World Cup win, and there was no better feeling. So we know it's going to be tough, but I'm extremely excited, and these are the moments, I guess, we play all these tournaments, and that's the reason why again someone like me's come to the Big Bash. There's a lot of guys playing all around the world. You don't want to be almost undercooked going into these tournaments. So I'm feeling really good and really excited to join up with the guys, I guess.
At the risk of boring you, to ask you a question you've been asked 100 times, so many people have said over the years that that you need a clearer role definition. And Harmy and I have said for years, well, if you've got a bloke that is adaptable and that can do 6 different jobs, then use him in those jobs when it suits him. But have you spoken to Harry? I mean, have you discussed role definition? Is that something that you are leaning towards more these days?
To be fair, as weird you brought that up. That question went quiet, which I was quite enjoying. No one was asking me, but I haven't really. But I think it was pretty clear when I joined back with England for this New Zealand series recently. I batted in the kind of top 6 and bowled in all the phases. So I think it's pretty obvious what I want to do, and I think the team know they can get the best out of me by that role, whether that's, I guess, going up and into the power play or certain matchups, things like that. But I guess they're all around the world, all these franchise tournaments, and I feel most comfortable there. So I'm hoping that will be my role. But if it's not, I think just that experience of being around the group as well will help. And I'm feeling in a really good spot with how things are going. And I guess hopefully we can start putting the role clarity question a bit more quieter in the next few months.
I'm not gonna put you under the microscope and ask you about the Ashes, because it's not fair, because you weren't there and weren't involved. But there's a role during the Ashes and during the India series that Ben Stokes, England captain, so valuable. England can't really do without. But the longer series that's twice now he's getting injured. He's still got sort of test aspirations, because if Ben Stokes was to come out of the team, England would need a bowler who could bat or a batter who could bowl. Now, you could move up. Somebody could move up to 6, and then that all-rounder would be possibly as the number 7. Is that something you've still got one eye on and thinking, well, if we do go down the all-rounder, we do have the all-rounder route that bats and bowls, possibly more bowl than bat in Test match cricket. That that job's for me. Do you still believe that there's a role there for you in the red ball game, or have you really parked the red ball to one side and said, right, I'm just going to be a white ball cricketer?
No, not at all. I think I guess I haven't played. Well, my last test was probably 21, 22. But I guess yeah, I've always got those ambitions. I think with me going to the IPL for the last kind of 6 years, I've probably missed the first kind of 7, 8 championship games naturally, and then I've played each the last 3, 4 years. I have played probably 3 or 4 county games each season. I still love playing it, and obviously it helps when we go back to Surrey playing a really strong side as well. So I've obviously always got those ambitions, and I just feel like I'm a guy who, if you say tomorrow chuck me in a game, I'll go out and just try and do my best. I've just loved playing the game. So whatever format it is, it's just about enjoying it. And of course, no one's going to, I'm not going to say no, of course. I love playing for England. So I think, I will be honest, probably not on my mind right now in terms of like with the World Cup coming up and all these things. And I think the opportunity in the future may come up, but if it doesn't, I'm not going to, I guess, change the path I'm on right now. I would love to play more 4-day cricket, obviously, if it helped. But I guess, how you guys know me, I'm a competitive guy. If you put a ball in my hand or give me a bat, I just try and make an impact. So yeah, I think there's always going to be ambitions, but I guess who knows what the future holds.
Sam, a lot of people outside of South Africa didn't know that Hashim Amla has got a brother who played 10 years of first-class cricket himself. His nickname was The Other because, well, he was the other Amla. And there's there's Ben Curran, who I guess to some extent was the other Curran behind you and Tom, but he's on the map now. He's got a Test 100. That must have put a smile on your face.
Yeah, really pleased. We speak to him a lot, and obviously our family connection in Zimbabwe is very special. And he's obviously got 100 before me in Test and ODI cricket, which is his bragging rights for him, which is really nice. And no, I'm really pleased for him. He obviously went on a different route to me and Tom did, and the fact that he's gone back to somewhere where it's close to my family and where my dad played so many games of cricket, and you obviously spent time there in Zimbabwe, and we've still got a lot of attachment towards people there and family. So it's very special for him. And I think that 27 World Cup where Zimbabwe and South Africa host is a big target for probably all of us to try and get that current v current battle. So I guess that'll be really special, and a very nervous, I guess, watch for people in my family.
And just finally from me, Sam, I mean, I think going back to the T20 World Cup on the horizon, what is it going to take for England to win it?
I think, yeah, I think it's not easy to win. I think you need a little bit of, I think on the T20 as a format, you need your match winners, let's be honest, to stand up in those critical moments, whether that's the defending your 10 off the last over or hitting that 15 off the last over. I think we've got a very well balanced squad, I think, in terms of players that can do everything, whatever conditions. But I think it's handling the pressure in that country of obviously, and there's no question that probably India, Australia, those type of teams that are such quality sides are up there with the favourites. And I guess going to a country like India, it's such a great experience. I think if we can handle the pressure and enjoy it and kind of not treat it like any other game, but I think you've got to make sure you win those small moments on the field. And I think that this phase now where we're going to Sri Lanka is hugely important. I think having those 2 weeks as a group before, we haven't been together since October. So I think that's going to be key to get to know each other again, not know each other again, but there's role clarities and spend a bit of time and talk about opposition teams and things like that. But I'm getting goosebumps. It's such an exciting time before a World Cup. And I guess this is what I said we dream for.
So it's always a pleasure to have you on. Enjoy the last game for the Sixers and get some sleep on that plane.
I will do. Just add a few more miles.
Cheers,
guys.
Daryl, so many questions. Your own form has been spectacular. I have to say that it was so many big names missing as well, and India in red hot form, and once again the cricket world been turned upside down. People were saying, "Oh, let's just hope that they're competitive," and yet you've done it again. You've beaten them again.
Hey guys, yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, look, it's really nice, I guess, to come over here with what I guess a lot of people would say is a younger group or inexperienced squad in the ODIs, and yeah, to come and achieve what we achieved in winning the series, and I guess playing in a way that we wanted to as Kiwis. Yeah, it's really pleasing to do that and create history for New Zealand cricket, which is something we as the Black Caps haven't done before. So yeah, it's pretty special.
Daryl, just go the game. We'll fast forward to the third game just for a second there, because the series is on the line, and you weren't exactly walking in, with the rocket and start. What was the mindset going into that? Because you lost a couple of wickets. It's always pressurized noise, cricket in India. Where was your head at when you went into that innings? Because was it just building a partnership, or was it, because you are in sort of 2020 mode as well, with the preparation for that World Cup?
Yeah, I guess obviously it's never ideal losing a couple, and I think the nature of the ground at indoor where we played, we knew it would be relatively high scoring. So I guess it was that balance between trying to build a partnership and extend that for a period of time. Firstly with Will Young, who had a great series as well, and try and yeah, I guess yeah, get into the innings as a team, but then also keep trying to find ways to put pressure on them. And when you definitely need probably that 300 plus at indoor, it was yeah, keep trying to find ways to put pressure on their bowlers. And yeah, once me and GP, I guess, sort of got going as a partnership, it's good fun batting with GP. He's full noise and makes me run, so it was good fun.
When you have a record like yours, not just recently, but your career average is 58 in ODI cricket, our listeners and viewers are all wanting us to say, what's the secret? I mean, your last 10 innings, you've scored 786 runs at 112. You've got 900s, 12 50s, and the runs just keep flowing. When you're in a purple patch like this, as I say, I mean, it's a silly question in some ways, but that's what people want us to go. What's the key? What are you doing that everyone else isn't?
No, look, I think for me, I've said it before, but whatever format it is, whether it's tests, one days or T20s, it's just trying to help contribute to the team, and it's trying to, I guess, not look at the numbers, not look at what you're doing at the time. It's just being really present in that moment of that game and trying to find ways to win those little moments. And if I can keep stacking that and ball by ball and being really ruthless with how I guess take each ball and don't take that for granted, then all this stuff, I guess, starts to look after itself. Yeah, it's as simple as that. You're just trying to be present, trying to watch the ball, and trying to make good decisions, ball after ball after ball. And if you can do that, usually that's helping your team win, and you're going to have some individual success because of that as well.
Daryl, you mentioned the team a couple of times there. This team must be flying high. I mean, it's not an India B side. This is India's A side. The Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, they're all the big guns from India are playing. It's in pressurized situation on the eve of a World Cup. New Zealand must be, full of confidence in that dressing room.
Oh, look, it's always nice winning. It's a good feeling, and especially, I guess, with a group that was inexperienced, and a number of guys were experiencing India for the first time. So, yeah, it was just for me, it was just really cool to see how the group came together at the start of the series, and really, I guess, enjoyed each other's company, trained really hard, and prepared really well, and then went out there as a bunch of Kiwis trying to fight for every ball and get stuck into, as I said, into moments. And yeah, it's really nice to walk away with a series win. But also we know we head into T20s tomorrow, and we've got 5 T20s before a World Cup. So it's an exciting little period coming up as well.
Daryl, and just for anybody that didn't manage to watch the series, it wasn't as if you played low risk accumulating cricket. I mean, it was savage. Brendan McCullum tells the England players they need to run towards the danger. Well, you ran towards Kuldeep Yadav. I mean, Kuldeep was the danger man, and you've just taken him down. I mean, it was the planning and the meticulous execution of those plans. There was a time, dare I say, that you were thought not to be very good against spin. You're the slayer of spin now.
Oh, look, yeah, it's nice to have compliments, but the whole thing of I guess adapting in these conditions over here is, I guess, we recognised in the partnership at the time that Kuldeep was going to play a massive part in that game, and he's a world class bowler. So I guess the balance of their team and how they structured their overs, it was about trying to find ways to put pressure on them through the middle, and yeah, it's, I guess, try and stick to your strengths and back your skill set that you've practiced and prepared for many, many years. And it's always nice, I guess, when it does come off. It doesn't always come off, but when it does, it's nice.
And going into the T20s, what confidence do you take? What elements of that 50 over format which you played and you won the series of do you take into that T20 format, which is, say, 5 very intense games, and then obviously with one eye on what's going to happen sort of February, March in the World Cup?
Yeah, look, it's exciting. Yeah, you guys know playing over here in India, it's amazing. The crowds, the noise that it brings, and for me personally, I think it's great preparation leading into a T20 World Cup to be able to, I guess, play the world champions at the time, and to be able to, I guess, prepare on these conditions has been really will be great leading into it. So, look, we'll just look forward to the game tomorrow and get stuck into that, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But you can't ask for much better preparation.
Traditionally, at the height of New Zealand's great successes, there was a core group, quite a small core group of, 12, 13, 40, 15 players maybe, who could get the job done at international level. These days, it just seems like a production line. I mean, every time Jaden Lennox and Christian Clark, there would have been people going, "Oh, who are they?" And yet they just walk into international cricket and look at home. Has the landscape of New Zealand cricket now finally changed? I mean, there's just so many quality cricketers coming through. That wasn't always the case.
Yeah, look, it's really pleasing to see, I guess, a number of guys step up when they get opportunities. And look, I think it just we're very lucky that we've had a generation of the likes of Kane and Tim Southey and Trent Bolt that my generation's been allowed to learn off coming into the team. And I guess it's about us now making it easy for the next crop to come in as well and make them feel at home whenever they put that silver fern on. So yeah, it's awesome to see though the likes of Christian Clark, even Zach Folkes, who's played a lot of cricket this summer. For him to do what he does, both with bat and balls, really, really cool to see. And yeah, it bodes well, I guess, for the Black Caps for the future, but it also shows the strength that we do have at home. And who knows? I'd say a few more guys might be getting some franchise opportunities around the world, and maybe one day we might even have our own tournament at home in New Zealand as well.
Yeah, you mentioned that. What are you thinking of that? Do you think this is the perfect time? You've just mentioned, half a dozen names. Man has mentioned half a dozen names there. We've seen some players come through. We've seen some players emerge in sort of the T20 blast in England. Is it now the strike while the iron's hot? You've been in India both test and one days. And if you win this, T20 format, is it the perfect time for New Zealand to get their franchise tournament and all of a sudden say, look, we've got some unbelievable cricketers in one of the greatest parts of the world?
Yeah, look, I think it'd be awesome to have something at home. You guys know how awesome it is to tour New Zealand, and we've got some pretty good golf courses and some nice beaches as well. So it's not only the cricket. So yeah, look, let's hope in the future that we can get something going, and it's only going to add to the strength, I think, of New Zealand cricket and help our international team in the long run as well.
I know you've got a 5-match series coming up and a World Cup, but if I may just throw it forward a couple of months, well, 3 or 4 months, the Test series against England. I mean, 4 years ago, you and Tom Blundell were incredible. I mean, you scored 100 in every Test, didn't you? It was a phenomenal Test series, and yet you lost. And probably a couple of those Test matches, you probably felt that you should have won. Probably, is there, if you can allow yourself to look ahead, is there a sense of revenge?
Thanks for reminding me of all those close losses. It's really good of you. No, look, it's exciting. I think it's definitely something when you see on the calendar coming up that you have 3 tests in England and the first 2 at Lords and the Oval is going to be cool. So yeah, looking forward to getting over there and being part of that again. Playing in England's cool. I love the crowd, how they, you get the chance, you get the abuse at times, and yeah, it's good fun. So, and also with my dad living over there in London as well, it'd be nice, I guess, to bring the family and them for the kids to be able to catch up with their granddad as well. So it's going to be a great trip, and yeah, it should be good fun.
Now, just finally from me on the T20 World Cup, what do you think? You're in India. What do you think it's going to take for that sort of 1-2%ers that's going to get a team into the knockout stages, into the final, and potentially win the final? largely against what would be a very, very, I think, favourite India side in their own back garden. How do you think this T20 tournament's going to be won?
Look, I think the strength of ours in many white ball tournaments that have been before is we probably don't look too far ahead and we don't make it bigger than what it is. We'll concentrate on the first game that we've got coming up against Afghanistan and Chennai, and then we'll worry about the next one after that. And for us, it's making sure we do all the little things really well, both with bat, ball, and especially in the field. It's trying to keep it really simple. And if you do those, then hopefully you win one and you win another, and suddenly you're in the mix come the end. But that's how we operate as Kiwis. It's different to other teams around the world, but it seems to work every now and then, so we'll stick with it.
Final question, Daryl, and we'll let you go. You mentioned your dad living in London. He's works with England women's rugby. John Mitchell, OBE. How does that sound?
I'm a bit annoyed he didn't get a knighthood. I'd love to have called him Sir John, but maybe that's after the next World Cup. But no, look, really, really proud, I guess, for him to be achieving what he's achieving in rugby, and I know he's loving being part of the Roses, and he's in really, he just seems like he's really enjoying it, which is cool to see. So hopefully they can go again in 4 years' time, and we'll call him Sir John, eh?
Right, lots of comings and goings and signings and retentions in the 100. Harmy, Liam Livingstone, Adam Zampa and Devolt Brevis, the young South African, will play for London Spirit in the 2026 edition. Phil Salt will captain Welsh Fire. We're a big fan of Phil Salt. MI London have retained Rashid Khan and have signed Nicholas Pooran. Kieran Pollard's the coach. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my say on coaching the 100 and not having an English pathway into their flagship tournament. It is a strange one, but I mean, there's some great names being banded around. I mean, that London Spirit group, who have had a shocker in the last few years, I think they've got their act together there. I really do. I think the combination, I think both men and women, I think Heather Knight, Mo Bobat, Andy Flower, Liam Livingstone's a good signing, Zampa's a good signing. I think KP was all over social media talking about Brevis the other day and what a top young player he could be. So again, this competition, I mean, I'm sure we'll come to part of it at the end, but the format, I love everything about it, apart from the format. You give me this in T20. You give me these players in T20, these coaches in T20. I mean, this marketing team that's marketed the 100 in a T20 format, and I think we've got one of the second best tournaments around the world. And no matter what Josh Butler and one or two others say on the Manchester video, I mean, this 100, we've not seen many great tournaments so far, as in close games over them tournaments. And I just think sometimes it's a little bit of a shame because we have got some unbelievable superstars playing in the month of August in this country, in England. But I still think the format of the 100 is really holding it back for what it could be, because the likes of Nicholas Pooran, Phil Salt going to Welsh Fire is an interesting one. As captain, I think the Welsh Fire franchise. I don't want to get sort of. I'm very, very good at getting under the skin of a lot of people, but the Welsh supporters, do they really want a franchise in that part of the world? There's no sort of hardly any Welsh players playing in it. A lot of tribalism you want to try and get to. That franchise really has had a struggle, and possibly would it be better to be relocated into a different area? But I mean, I can see the messages going bang, 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 bang from the Welsh fans who have turned out in their droves, but they've got a good captain, so hopefully they can get a good team. They can get behind it, but I'm not sure that franchise has worked in the 100 tournament. But like I said before, that 100 balls is it just doesn't seem to work for close matches. I mean, some very, very good, very, very good product, some good individual performances. But I probably count on one hand how many really sort of close games that we had last year and still have spare fingers.
I have to be very careful here to protect his identity, but I spoke to a very, very wealthy investor who is part of the conglomerate that is invested in one of the franchises. And he assured me that there was absolutely no question that it would become a T20 tournament just as soon as the current rights cycle, I think he mentioned. Anyway, there's no question.
I think that's
Right.
2029. That for me is still too far away.
Yeah.
But the only thing for me that's holding this tournament back is the format. Everything else, I've not so much warmed to it. I've always been a big fan of the best playing against the best. Big fan of, trying to get a new audience. A big fan of trying to get full stadiums. But I still don't think it will ever hit the heights of, tournaments around the world until it's T20 competition.
Talking of tribalism, there are certain players who are just, irrevocably associated with certain counties, and Ben Duckett is, he's a Nottinghamshire man, and the Trent Rockets have signed him. They've retained Tom Banton, and they've signed Mitchell Santon, who's a very good signing. All right, let's move away from the 100 and talk on to some other business. Signings, Yorkshire. Flashing the checkbook, aren't they, the Yorkies? They've got signed Naveen Ul-Haq now. Brilliant. Kent have signed Senyorin Mutasami, which I think is a really, really astute signing for the Blast and for 8 championship games. This was going to be a final word as well. I don't know if you noticed, veteran South African all-rounder John Smuts, who is as South African as Bryce and Boerewors, has been named in the Italy's T20 squad. He qualifies. His wife has some connection. I think she makes a good lasagna. But I think his wife has a maternal grandmother who's Italian. So John Smuts is. But Emilio Gay is not in there. He's injured apparently.
Yeah, he's injured. Well, he is injured. I was at Durham the other day. He is injured, so that's a blow for Italy because, I mean, Emilio Gay, he could find himself. I don't think England are going to make a change at the top of the order in Crawley and Duckett in the Test matches, but if they did, Emilio Gay, I think, is in pole position. I really think if a good 8 games for Durham at the start of the season, and we could find Emilio Gay in the talking, in the mix, in the melting pot for being one of them if England make a change to that top 7, and it is a big if. You're right, John Smuts is a big South African, with when Madsen, and I mean, I'm surprised Michael Di Benito's brother didn't try and get Diver out of retirement to come and play. So, I mean, the Joe Burns one, that ship sailed, he's long gone, who helped get them there. But Italy have seemed to have gone down the Jack Charlton route of getting their players for a major tournament to give themselves a chance against the big boys, because this is their chance. I still think this is in a T20 format. I still think we've got too many teams, and I don't want to be in a position to go watch the first week and a half of the tournament thinking I'm sick of it now, and the big boys haven't played each other yet. So, as much as me, I want cricket player from all around the world and the 4 corners of the world to get their chance. But I think in T20 cricket, I don't know. I don't know. I just hope that we don't. The anticlimax of the tournament, because we've had so many games at the start. By the time the knockout stage, the Super 8s and the knockout stage come, that we think this tournament's been far too long.
You've been listening to Following On with me, Neil Manthorp, alongside former England fast bowler Steve Harmison. We'll be back at the same time next week to look back at the ODI series and look ahead to the start of the T20 series, every ball of which is live and exclusive right here on talkSPORT 2.